Hey everybody, it's been a while. Hope you guys are doing okay. Hope you're doing great. As I think about doing these videos, I always want to talk about things that are close to my heart and things that I've experienced over the last few weeks or even the last day or so. Things that I've held close to my heart for many years. And one of the things that was important to me and still is important is, do our kids know that they are loved? Do our kids know that they're being listened to? Do our kids know that they are special and that they are important? Growing up, in the 60s and the 70s, I've always wanted, um, I always wanted my mother, especially because the majority of the time I was brought up by my mother. And you just wanted her to listen. You wanted to be loved unconditionally. Most kids just want to be loved unconditionally with no strings attached, no conditions. So growing up, everything was based on my performance. And I learned over the years that that wasn't right. There was something wrong with that. And I spent a lot of time um, looking for love and acceptance. A lot of times I look for it in all the wrong places. That song? Yeah, anyways, you know, then as you know, I started drinking at a young age. And I learned how to just stuff things. Many times in my job, I'm driving around the city and I'm just amazed at how many kids are strung out on drugs. They're just a mess. And I ask myself, I wonder if they know that they're loved. That's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's son, you know? And I think it just makes me want to just park my truck and trailer and just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to devote the rest of my life to make sure that those people know that they're loved and somebody cares. I listened to a story once about this guy that lost his wife and he just sold everything and he just ended up living on the street. And one day he needed some money because he needed to get his license in order to get a job, and there happened to have been an EMT uh, near a store that he was at, and all he needed was $7, um, so he could get his license and he could get a place to live and get a job and everything. And this EMT gave him the $7. Well, years later, he ran into that same EMT, and that $7 changed that guy's life forever. He quit doing the drugs, got himself a job, got cleaned up, and so you never know what these people are going through. And it just makes me sad. Every day there's more and more of those people walking around. They're talking to themselves. They're screaming and yelling, and there's nobody around. And I think, you know what, you can't always blame it on the parents. I mean, some of these kids probably come from good homes, but probably the majority of them don't. So I can remember at a very young age, I was probably 22 years old. Um, and I've shared this with you before. I just made a decision that I wasn't going to do that. And that I was going to do whatever I can to make sure my kids know that they're loved. So, you know, I wasn't afraid to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I got to clean up my act. Many times I ate humble pie and I had to make some drastic changes. And sometimes I look at parents and it makes me sad. None of them are willing to look in the mirror and make those changes. I've known some people that they're still the same people that they were 35 years ago. No change whatsoever because they don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to make any changes to better themselves and to be a better parent, a better sister, brother, or whatever it is, or a better human being. So they just stay the same. And I've talked to some people that I've grown up, and I said to one guy in particular, I said, Jim, is this what you wanted for your life? And he said, no, Randy, but this is all I know. So I said to him, Jim, you know what? I said the same thing at one time. That's all I knew. That's how I knew. Only way I knew how to deal with things was through the booze. And then I woke up one day and realized that I can change. So I made some changes. And they don't have to be big changes. We can take little steps. Doesn't have to be a drastic. I mean, I spent 30 something years doing the same thing over and over and over again. So you're not going to change overnight. Life is a journey that you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Now you got two choices. You can make it a difficult journey or you can make it an exciting one. Dealing with your problems. It doesn't have to be, a chore. It can be a joy, especially when you see those changes in yourself and you can look in the mirror and say, oh, I like who I am becoming. And be humble and realize you're going to fall and make mistakes, but you get back up and you learn from what you've done and try not to make the same mistakes again. Sure you're going to do it. Sure you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fall back in the old dirty way of thinking. But if you acknowledge it and continue to make those steps to change, man, it's taken me a long time to get where I've gotten. And I'm still not there. But I'm willing to wake up every morning and be humble and be willing to say I'm sorry or whatever it is that I've done. If I've done something to hurt somebody, be willing to apologize. If I've said something to my kids, be willing to ask for forgiveness, or anybody for that matter. Because that's what it's all about. We're only human, we're going to make mistakes, but we got to learn not to be so hard on ourselves and to learn to love who we are. And that's the key. And if our kids see that we're making an effort to change, why wouldn't you want to do it? Because you love your kids. You want nothing but the best for them. So why would you not want to do anything to change your life and make a difference for them and for yourself? And to be a better human being, the way God intended us to be. I'm constantly reminded, I was just reminded the other day, this young fella, 30 years old, died. And the last thing he said was, I don't think my father loves me. 30 years old. And now he's gone. Whether that was true or not, we can't blame it all on the parents. But we have to listen to our kids. If they feel that way, listen to them. Don't just shrug it off and say, well, I'm sick of hearing, turn the record over. If you need to say you're sorry, then say you're sorry. I know if my mother did that in my life, it would have changed my life drastically. But she didn't. Even on her deathbed, she wouldn't say she was sorry. She wouldn't admit the things she did to me. And that makes me sad. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm okay. But does it hurt? Yeah, it still hurts. But I move on and I deal with it. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it now. It's done. She's gone. You know, but there still are times where I watch a movie and I see the interaction between a mother and a son, and how much the mother shows her love and affection. And I'm in my 60s, and that still brings tears to my eyes because my mother wasn't like that. But that's okay. It's made me who I am today. It's made me want to do what I'm doing right now. And that's talking to you guys. Because it's important for me to let people know that I care. We never know what deed or what a word we say to somebody, how it's going to change their life forever. I do to others like I want done unto me. I was just talking to a friend about that. We just keep going, we just keep being who we are, and we can't let anything get in the way. All the stuff that's happened to us in our life, we can make it better us or we can make it worse in us, if that makes any sense. But, we have that choice to either grow from it or let it destroy us. And I've seen so many people, it's destroyed them. And it makes me sad when I see some kid walking down the street so lost, has no purpose, nothing, no direction. Because, like I said, it's not always the parents' fault. But somebody needs to take the time to show these people. And it's not just kids, it's adults too, that they're important, somebody loves them. Because they can't comprehend that. It took me 30-something years to understand that somebody actually cares about me. And for me, that person was God, that he loved me unconditionally. My flaws and all my mistakes, I've made everything. He loved me unconditionally. And that I didn't understand that because I never had that from my parents. I never knew my dad till I was a teenager in high school. So, you get the concept. The first 5 years of a child's life are the most important. That's what develops them. That shows them the importance that they are. So if we abuse our kids and belittle them and, then that's how they feel about themselves. But if we lift them up and love and cherish them the way they're supposed to, they didn't ask to be brought into the world, to be abused and neglected and unloved. They didn't ask. That's not fair to them. So as parents, we have a responsibility to make sure that they're loved and taken care of. And we do whatever we can. I just made it a point that I would do whatever I could for my kids. If I had to work 6 jobs, I worked 6 jobs. Was I perfect? No, I made a lot of mistakes. But I used to lie awake at night worried that I was going to ruin them because I had no idea how to be a parent. But I found out how to be a parent. By God's grace and him showing me and directing me, reading books, talking to people, asking questions. We are molding the future. And there's no room for error. Yeah, we're going to make mistakes. Yeah. But that's a little human being that relies on us to love them and cherish them, and make sure they're fed, clothed, looked after. So I made sure that my kids had all that. I made sure I went to their parent-teacher meetings. Most of the time I was the only man there. Not blowing my own horn, but, I couldn't understand. To me, that's a man's responsibility. You know, so that's what I did. I coached their soccer. I did everything. Went swimming together. It was important for me to be part of their life, to mold and teach them, so that one day they'll grow up to be healthy individuals, mentally, physically, spiritually. Yeah, my kids aren't perfect. My kids have made a lot of mistakes too. But my son told me today, at least he knew that he was loved by his mother and me. And that brings great joy to me. People ask me, what do you think the most important part of parenting is? To make sure your kids know that they're loved. You don't show them love by giving them stuff. You show them love and affection. You hug them. You tell them you appreciate them, that you're proud of them. Oh man, I needed that in my life and I didn't get it. So I had to learn to do it for myself. It took me a long time to look in the mirror and say, I like who I am. Sometimes, no, I don't like who I am. But I try to change that. Yeah, I'm going to make mistakes, but the guilt and the shame ain't there anymore. Because I do like who I am and who I've become. Yeah, do I have things that I got to work on? Yeah, but everybody does. That's a lifelong journey. And it's a fun journey. It doesn't have to be work. It can be fun and joyful, So that's really important that we do that. So as parents, we have a responsibility to make sure our kids go out in the world that they're healthy individuals. And we teach them what's important, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a man. It's so confusing for kids today. They got so much crap they've been bombarded with. Just ridiculous. I just can't believe the stuff let them be kids. Let them have fun. They don't need to learn about all this nonsense that's going on. You're born a boy, you're a boy. You're born a girl, you're a girl. Teach a boy what it means to be a man. And what does it mean to me to be a man? To take care of your wife and your family and respect a woman and treat her with love and dignity. Not push her around. Listen to what she has to say. And what does it mean to be a woman? I'm not a woman, so, but I know what I need to do as a man and what's important to me. And that's to take care of my family and love and honor and respect women and treat them with respect. Because a lot of times if we don't do that, then what happens as a man and you have a relationship with your daughter and you don't do that, she's going to go and find the wrong person in her life because she doesn't know any better. Oh, she doesn't think that she's worthy to be treated with love and respect because her father didn't do it. So those are the things that are important. Nothing else matters. If a young woman knows that she's loved and respected by her parents, and mainly by her father, then she's going to make some healthy choices. And she's going to find a man who's going to take care of her and love and respect her. And if you, as a father, teach your son how to love and respect a woman, then he's going to do the right things. You know, so there's so many roles that a man is to do and so many roles a woman, but nobody wants to hear that anymore. Everybody's lost their identity and who they are and what we're supposed to do in this world as male and female. And no, a woman's not supposed to be in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. That's not what I'm saying. You know, we're supposed to stand beside one another, encourage one another, lift each other up, not rip each other apart. So if the kids see that, then that's what they think's normal, and that's what they're going to end up dealing with when they're older. So as parents, we need to take the time for one another. If your relationship isn't right with your wife or whatever, then it's not going to be right for the kids. You know, and I'm a good example of that. I made a lot of mistakes in that area. You know. So I have to live with that, but you can still talk to your parent. You still talk to your kids and tell them to learn from your mistakes too, because dad and mom, they're not perfect. But you got to have that communication with the kids. You need to sit down with them and talk to them about this stuff. Talk to them when you make a mistake as a parent, or talk to them why you're disciplining them because you love them. If you don't discipline a child, like I was disciplined differently. I was abused. But when my mother let me do whatever I wanted, go out drinking and no curfew when I needed to be home, that just showed me she didn't care about me. But when you put boundaries, you know, rules for your kids, then that shows them that you care. But if you let them just do whatever they want, oh my, you know, how does that show them that you care? We all have to have rules, things that we need to follow. There's reasons why we have those things, to protect them. And if we don't do that, then they're just kind of a free-for-all like I did. Man, there's just so many kids out there lost today. And as parents, we need to get our heads in the right place and our hearts. It's never too late. You know, like I said in one of my videos, it's never too late to say you're sorry. You know, we make mistakes as parents. So be able to be willing to humble yourself and say you're sorry and explain to them. You know, I have never seen so many kids lost in my life. I've never seen so many kids strung out on drugs, and even adults. Some people my age. Because they're so lost, they have no purpose, no hope, nothing. So please take the time to listen to your kids. Be willing to protect them. It is our job to protect them. Don't let anybody brainwash them with all this nonsense. You have a responsibility. The government is not supposed to be bringing up our kids. We are. When I didn't like something that the school was teaching my kid, I pulled them out of the school and told them under no circumstances do you teach that to my kid. And if you do, please phone me. I'm coming to get my kids. And I just did it. It's my job. It's my job to talk to the kids about sex. It's my job to talk to them about marriage. It's my job to talk to them about love. My job to talk to them about sexual orientation. On it goes. It's not the government's job. It's my job as a parent. And if we don't know, then we need to find out how we can talk to our kids about that stuff. Because there's so much stuff going on out there right now. You know, these kids should be able, talking to an 8-year-old, 7-year-old about sex. Come on, just let them go out and play tetherball, run around and laugh. They don't need to know about this stuff. Life's hard enough as it is. It's ridiculous. So please just take the time. We are molding and shaping our future. Long after we're gone, our kids are going to be taking over the responsibility. So let's make sure that we lead them down the right path. And take the time to change your life and make some changes in your life. It's never too late to change. It's never too late, like I said in the last video, to surrender and say, you know what? My life's a mess. I want to be a better parent. It's never too late to say you're sorry. I can't stress that enough. So many people have gone to their grave not saying they're sorry. So many people have gone, their parents are gone, and now the kids got to live with that for the rest of their life. Because their parents didn't have enough, whatever it is, to say they're sorry for what they did to their kids. So then they're walking around medicating themselves because they're lost and confused and nobody loves them. That's what they think. So if you're not a parent, you're an uncle or you're an aunt or whatever you are. Take the time to encourage these kids. They need it. Take the time to encourage anybody. We all need encouragement. We all need understanding. We all need somebody to listen to us. And sometimes we don't have to say anything. We just need to listen. Don't be a counselor. Don't just listen. I have to remind myself that all the time. Sometimes a person just needs for us to listen, just like I just need somebody to listen to me. I don't need them to lecture me or judge me or nothing. Just listen. So I have to constantly remind myself just to listen. So just take the time to do that. It's very important that your kids know that they're loved. Otherwise, they're going to be lost. So much suicide going on with young people today because they got no purpose, no meaning. They need direction. They need guidance from their parents. So if you're sitting on the couch, get off the couch. Get your kid away from the video game. Take him out for a walk. Go for a bike ride. Or go for a walk on the beach. Forget about the stupid TV and the video games. Pay attention to them. Because if you don't, somebody else will. And sometimes that somebody else is bad for them. Giving them the wrong advice and leading them down the wrong way. Or whatever it is. Turning them on to drugs or whatever. So shut the TV off. Take some time to be with your kids. Take their video games away from them. Allow them to have a video game maybe 3 times a week or for an hour, and that's it. Man, they spend so much time on those video games or on their phone. So yeah, so that's my encouragement to you, and that's my challenge to you. I got to challenge myself every day to do that kind of stuff. Shut my mouth and just listen. So take care of yourself until we meet again. God bless you.